10 reasons why I chose to work with PHP Agency. So here are 10 reasons why I chose to work with PHP Agency versus creating my own company from scratch. Number one, co-brand. I can build a company with inside a company. Listen, PHP Agency has a tremendous platform started by the founder and CEO, Patrick McDavid. Through the channel of Valuetainment, he's created the #1 channel for entrepreneurs on YouTube. And yet, I can still create a company with inside a company. I can build a brand with inside a brand. You know why? Because he says, listen, if I show you what to do, if I give you a platform to succeed, we're going to be creating a company that you'll never want to leave. So if you want to build a brand, for example, for myself, which is the Money Smart Movement team, you can build a brand with inside a brand. You can co-brand side by side with PHP Agency. Number two, compensation. Patrick McDavid has put together the sexiest, most richest compensation plan for people who want to build a business. I'll give you an example. My wife and I came here in January of 2015. Our first year in business, based on a system and a culture plugged in here, our first year we made $208,000. The second year we made $646,000. By the way, how's that for a pay raise? The third year, as I speak to you right now, in September of 2017, we've already made over $650,000. In other words, we've made more money in 8 months than we already have the entire last year of us being in business, simply because of us taking advantage of the compensation plan. Point number three, exotic travel. I mean, the last 2.5 years, we've been to Dubai, we've been to Puerto Vallarta, we've been to Costa Rica, we've been to Oaxaca Castle, we've been to the Grand Moon Palace in Cancun, and right now, I'm doing this video aboard a private jet after doing a 6-city, 3-day tour, helping other entrepreneurs how to become successful too as well. So for me, where I was looking for in a company, it's to have not just great compensation, but to have a lot of perks that reward us for our hard work and effort. And if you're looking to partner with a company, and if you're looking to develop and build your own business, you want to have those type of incentives too, to reward yourself, to help you understand what a luxurious lifestyle, what it all is all about, if you're putting in the effort to become an entrepreneur. Point number four, personal attention to our business. The interesting thing, when I came here at PHP Agency, as soon as we came on board, we enrolled as associates, our team enrolled as associates. It's interesting how we received a personal phone call from Alexis Moody at home office. It's interesting how we got a call from Tigran Bekian, in charge of licensing, to make sure all of our licensed agents and our newly soon-to-be licensed agents who came on board to our agency had back office support to make sure they got plugged in, to make sure they got licensed, to get their contracting taken care of, to have our business looked over. I mean, our CEO founder looks over our numbers every 6 months at our conventions. For example, the last one was at the Omnia nightclub in Caesar's Palace. He had a portfolio for us to take a look at to see how our numbers track back, look for trends in our business over the last 6 months. I've never had this level of mentoring and coaching to improve myself as an entrepreneur without having to pay $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month for that service. Number five, timing. You see, the interesting thing of why I partnered with PHP Agency, it was still a young, fresh company. It was not this mature company that already had this big brand name, that was publicly traded, that was owned by a large financial conglomerate. No, PHP Agency was still a very small, nimble type of company that I can be a part of the decisions, that I can be a part of the growth, that I can be a part as if it was already my own company from the beginning. I have a lot to do with the growth and the impact of the direction of that company. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to have a hand and a seat at the table when it comes to those big type of decisions. Point number six, flexibility. I mean, it's all about entrepreneurship. It's all about not being part of this corporate structure. It's not all about being part of this thing where at the end of the day, it's being a glorified employee and you're bound to corporate governance where you still be able to call the shots, that you have direct access to information from the company instead of it being watered down. You get direct access to information that directly impacts your business today. Why? Because you're an entrepreneur. You want that type of flexibility. You don't want quotas. You don't want to be fired for things that because you had a bad month or a bad year, you're lacking production. You want that flexibility because it's completely about entrepreneurship. Point number seven, one of my personal favorite ones, which is called the gamification of PHP Agency. What am I talking about? You perform, you get a shirt. You perform, you qualify for a trip. You perform, you get a ring. You perform, you get a $30,000 Rolex watch. You perform, you get an all-company paid trip. You perform to compete with other offices. Listen, I'm a frustrated jock. How do I translate my competitive nature if I'm no longer playing football, if I'm no longer on the basketball court, if I'm no longer in the military? I've got to be able to translate that competitive drive to something else. And that's what PHP Agency allows me to do. We've won contests like March Madness, where our team qualified for a $7,500 shopping spree. We earned things like a trip to the Indy 500, the 100th running of this race. And our company is sending people to the NBA All-Star Game, the Kentucky Derby, to Russia for the World Cup next year for our top performers during this contest. I love this competitive nature where a frustrated jock like me can still be competitive for the long term. Point number 8, I can grow a national business with confidence. In other words, I can expand my business from region to region, city to city, state to state, coast to coast, without increasing my overhead. But simultaneously, I can increase my revenue. I mean, what business model allows you to have linear expenses but have exponential revenue? That's what PHP Agency allows me to do through its National Co-Leadership Program. Point number 9, mindset of being an agency builder versus being an insurance practitioner. I wanted to own a business. Why? Because I want to be able to build a business where I can own it today and pass it on to my children and my children's children. You can do that through entrepreneurship. But who's going to buy a practice from you? Only if the people that you give it to have a license or a desire to be in that field too as well. But what happens if they don't? What happens if they have a license but they don't want to be a practitioner? What happens if they don't want to meet with clients or take over the day-to-day operation of that practice, and it tends to be a grind? And I've seen situations where people hand over a practice, the kids don't want the practice, and they end up selling that practice for cents on the dollar. I want to give my kids generational wealth. I want to build for my kids the opportunity to own something big that make a big impact in the community, in our country, in our industry. And that's what ownership here at PHP Agency allows me to do. Point number 10, speaking of ownership, I don't have a college degree. I don't have a master's, a PhD. I don't have a pedigree of being at Silicon Valley Tech or being on Wall Street. Listen, I'm a kid from Main Street. And when I have the opportunity to be part of something as big as what Apple and Google is all about, and I come from nowhere, that's what PHP Agency has allowed me to have a piece of this company, which I am a co-owner today after only 2.5 years of being here. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about people working really, really hard and have something to show for instead of something to owe for. If that's you, that's why you need to consider a company that allows you to have a piece of the action of the entire company instead of you just having a little piece of your business that you don't own to begin with. And it's so impactful what we're doing here at PHP Agency that we've brought investors like Oscar De La Hoya, Gabriel Brenner, Atalaya Group, and being our partners to invest $10 million to rapidly grow and expand what we're currently doing today. Why? Because they're excited about the impact we're making in our community. With that being said, guys, listen, I never thought a kid like me, family from the Philippines, grows up in a middle class and average and ordinary neighborhood in Chicago, can have such an opportunity like this. Listen, I thought taking the 307 bus was a big deal. I thought having your own Chevy Cavalier was a big deal. Flying on a private jet, you kidding me? Going to the military, 8 years as an active duty combat Marine, to have an opportunity to do something big and special. Instead of making $19,000 a year, I get to make $19,000, $20,000 a week. This is what entrepreneurship and free enterprise and capitalism has allowed me to do, to have choice and control. If you want a platform, you want an environment to allow that to foster and grow in your life, consider PHP Agency.
I'm Patrick B. David, host of IETM, and hailing to you live from Addison, Texas. Until next time, continue to live smart, continue to love smart, be money smart today.
Text to audio for outro.